Ok. C'est bon, on est...
Oui, c'est bon.
C'est bon. Okay, so Queen of the Hideout. Monday. Codes and Stuff. Chapter 1. My name is Rose. Rosie Maldonne. As it goes, I don't like people to call me Rose or Rosie. Only my mother ever had the right to. It was her name too. Since her death 11 years ago of a stroke, I've never allowed another living person to call me Rose. Just Cree-Cree. I don't know how I ended up choosing Cree-Cree as a nickname. My psychoanalytical skills aren't all that hot, and I'll probably never get to the bottom of why and how I wound up wanting to be named after a cricket. I remember my mum took me to see Pinocchio at the theatre when I was little. I loved Jiminy Cricket. Maybe that has something to do with it. Plus, I'm always letting my conscience be my guide. That's just so me. Anyway, that morning everything started to go bunk. I awoke with a start from one of the worst nightmares ever. That was just so typical of me and my life. I snuggled down a little farther under the quilt and deeper into my gorgeously soft bed. When I say bed, I'm talking about my super class act day bed in the fit for royalty cabin of my brand spanking new and luxurious trailer. That's right, my home sweet home is a trailer, but thanks to a massive stroke of luck last year, I upgraded from my stinky old Caravalaire to a souped up mobile home, which was made to measure for some big gypsy mogul, but he never bothered to pick it up. It's called the Ambassador. It is the king of travel. I'm a girl with style these days. My rich buddy Gaston, he's loaded to the max, bought me the trailer as a gift. We, my 3 kids, the cat and I, were all feeling under the weather. It was sniffle central in our house. Not to mention it was freezing outside, and I had the school lunch bills hanging over my head. Both schools were asking me to settle up for my 3 kiddos. I called the 2 little ones, Lisa and Emma, the twins, because they were born almost on the same day 3 years ago. But only Lisa is actually mine. Emma is my friend Yasmina's daughter. Yasmina died in childbirth. It's hard to believe such things can still happen, but they do. Her father wasn't there the day Emma was born. I was the only one who registered her birth and took care of everything. I obviously tried not to get too attached, but when he finally showed up, the hopelessness of it all floored the guy. He hardly even looked at Emma and seemed more than pleased that I was taking care of her. So he left me in charge of her, and I couldn't be happier about the situation. I mean, what would my Lisa be without my Emma? They stick together like glue, that pair. They actually look nothing like twins. Emma has brown hair and dark skin, and Lisa is a spitting image of the White Witch from Narnia. She always looks sick to me, especially when she stands next to my coffee-coloured Emma. Then there's Sabrina, my eldest at 6. I had her with a guy from Cape Verde who I was madly in love with. So, that's who we all are. It can be a bit hard to follow who's who in my family, especially because over at our house, our trailer I should say, we often have Simon stay over too. He's my friend Vero's 6-year-old kid and Sabrina's BFF. Vero has been having more than her fair share of problems lately, and she's pretty fragile, especially since she went all wacko and had to spend some time in the psych ward. So I know his staying over really helps her out. I love having him over. Simon is a total sweetheart, apart from the fact that there's a whole bunch of stuff he won't eat. And he doesn't say much either. Anyway, being under the weather wasn't the best sitch to be in, seeing as I was also in the red, as always. Rosie Maldonne, aka Mademoiselle Holes in Her Pockets. Who on earth could be expected to bring up 3 little ones on welfare? Anyone in the same boat as me would be in just as big a mess. But knowing this never makes me feel any better. Being broke is pretty much the status quo around here, and I'm always bummed out about it. That's why the last thing I needed, especially that morning, was to be listening to miserable old pop songs by the Walker Brothers. Thanks, Mum. Who wants to hear two men warbling on and on about the sun not shining just because someone won't hook up with you? Not me. You see, my mother always finds a way to speak to me through my dreams, and she usually sends me songs, big hits from way back. She died when I was 16, but thanks to her weird and wonderful nocturnal communication system, we've never really been away from each other. The problem is, I sometimes have a hard job trying to decode her messages. She watches out for me. This means she usually tries to give me a heads up about what lies ahead that day. She forewarns me and lets me know if there's any danger coming up, or, on the other end of the spectrum, if something good is about to happen. Her songs act as premonitions. It's up to me to work out all the whys and wherefores. Decrypting her messages can be hard work though.